Hello there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cantina Social Hour. Happy Friday. How's it going? How's it going? What's up, y'all? I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I never do, honestly, but I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm going to take these off. How's it going, you guys? What's up? Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you guys for joining. Hope you guys are doing good. So now that I have your attention, our guest this evening is stalled or may not be able to make it. Had a work emergency, and it may impede his ability to be on Cantina Social Hour tonight. And if that is indeed the case, then we will remedy the situation with the typicalness of me boring you to death. I'm just kidding. I hope I don't bore you. If I did, you probably wouldn't be here. What's up, you guys? Happy Friday. I am glad to be here. I'm glad that it's Friday. I mean, hey, it's the weekend. You can't argue with the weekend, right? I mean, at the end of a long week, worked hard, money earned, got to deserve it, right? You got to feel you deserve that weekend, right? So here we are. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, so we are live once again on YouTube and on Facebook. Can't talk. And on Facebook this evening, just like we were last week. So I suspect there may be some folks watching from Facebook. I can't see who exactly at the moment. But if that works for you guys, then we'll keep doing it. We can do it on Instagram too, but the thing is, Instagram is vertical, like portrait mode, like this, right? So it's not like that. So it would probably cut off like my guests, right? So I don't know how that would work. So not really ideal. And I think they cut it off after an hour, and oftentimes we go longer than an hour. So yeah. So anyway, you guys, thank you for being here. I am excited that it's Friday. I'm excited that it's the weekend. I'm excited that I have a show called Cantina Social Hour that a few people enjoy watching on Friday nights, and that you guys are the lucky or unlucky souls that get to traverse the next 1 to 2 hours with me here on YouTube, right? Here on YouTube. So yeah, sweet. Well, whether or not our guest makes it, we'll get him rescheduled. He's a cool dude. But, I get it. Think life happens. What can you do? We are live, and anything can and does happen. It's like if we were on a major television network and you had a guest lined up and that guest wasn't able to make it. I guess I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's see who's in the chat with us tonight, and then we'll take a look at our schedule. Talk about what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Dodgson, how are you doing? Feels good to be back in the chat amongst our fellow Cantinians. Indeed. Pico B1, how's it going? Adam, how's it going, Adam? Thank you again for your message earlier on Instagram. I will share your a little bit later what you sent me because I thought it was really cool. Paul, how is it going, Paul? Good to see you in the cantina. Better Bob, how is it going? Make sure you're following Better Bob on Instagram. And I guess this is me. And this is me again. Look how one has the Facebook symbol. I guess that's how the message goes through. It goes through on both platforms. Ian, how's it going? I should really be in bed, but I'm far too awake. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm sure I'll put you to sleep, so don't worry, you're in the right place. Who else we got? Who else is here tonight? Trevor, how's it going, Trevor? Timothy, how's it going? Timothy has the Facebook thing on his picture, so he's on Facebook. Okay, I see how it works now. It took me 2 weeks to figure that one out. Mary, how's it going, Mary? Good to see you. Jason, how's it going? The future is so bright. I gotta wear shades. Yeah. I mean, why not? I was kind of pimping it up or something. I don't know. Britt, how's it going, Britt? Instagram is glitchy anyway. Yeah. I've tried. I don't like watching. I mean, I've done Instagram Live before. It's been a while. I used to do it a little bit more often, but it's hard to do it on a phone. Like really. Like, I mean, I guess you can do it on your desktop or laptop, but I don't. Yeah, it's not a great platform for going live. YouTube is the best for being live, because then you got the replay. You're not cut off after an hour. You can interact a little bit more in a better way with people. So I think it's better to do it there. Fatmatic, how's it going? You're watching me, the NFL draft, and the NBA playoffs. Well, I apologize that you're watching at least one of those. And it's not the NFL draft and the NBA playoffs. I'm just kidding. Thank you for being here, seriously. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the Chili Star Wars beer commercials. Did I see them? I got to think about that for a moment. Horizontal is better than vertical. Yeah. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for being here. So as far as tonight's topics, we're going to talk about next week's 2 streams. Yep, you heard that right. 2 streams next week. We're going to talk about the vintage collection new images that were released this week, press release, as well as an update on what's going on with Target canceling or not canceling the vintage collection. We talked about that in depth last week. We're going to look at the latest on that. We're going to talk about Hasbro licensing Power Rangers out to Playmates. Why did they do that? What does it mean? We're going to talk about a little bit about the Bad Batch, and we're going to talk about new acquisitions, because I did get a lot this week, especially today. Thanks, Big Bad Toy Store. So yeah, that is our schedule here. Arthur, how's it going? Much needed figure dusting. That's the best way. I mean, so for me personally, like when I'm arranging my shelves or I'm dusting or organizing toys, I love to have, like, the only thing I can really have in the background is like a toy live stream, collectibles live stream. Like that's the best way for me to do that. And it's kind of like that for anything I'm doing, right? Like if I'm like washing my car, then I kind of want to hear a car video or something. Like, I don't know. I like to vibe it up, right? Maybe that's why I have the sunglasses on, right? I just like to vibe it up when possible. And I mean, I could do this for the whole show, but then I'm going to regret it after a couple hours. So I'm not going to do that. Then you can see a reflection in my lenses. So we're not going to keep those on. All right. So, all right, let's talk about next week's stream. So next week, we're going to have the usual Cantina Social Hour Friday night here, same time. I'd say 7 p.m. PST, but you guys know in reality, it's really like 7:10 most of the time. So that is going to be next week normal. We are going to definitely have a guest. And it's going to be a great show because we're going to be talking about, any news that occurs next week. And we're going to be talking as well about what we can expect from May the 4th and what we can expect from HasLab, right? Because that's the big news. That's the big thing that's happening next week. HasLab, you guys. So I'm stoked about HasLab. I'm sure you are too. So we're going to be talking about that next Friday night. And joining me next Friday night, planning to have Yoko McCann here on the show. She is another, huge Star Wars fan, collector, has worked for Funko and done all kind of awesome things. A great member here in the collecting community. It'll be her first time on Cantina Social Hour. And so that'll be next Friday's, what did I do there? Next Friday's show. Then on Saturday, of course, we're going to have the big May the 4th live stream. Now this is, it's going to be a big one because we're going to have my friends within the community. We've got Chris from banthaschool.com. We got John Migo from the SW, the Vintage Collection Facebook group. We've got Tim from Bosk's Bounty. And who knows, there may be another person that shows up or another surprise or two on the show. And of course, it is on May the 4th directly. So we'll be celebrating May the 4th. We'll be talking about the end of the Bad Batch as a series. Some incredible. It's already going to end next week. We're going to be talking about Tales of the Empire. We're going to be talking about any new collecting reveals that are revealed next week. Any Star Wars announcements, whether it be like a film, whether it be Disney Plus, whatever it is, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about whatever is. There's a lot coming from Hot Toys, especially over the last few days. And we're going to be talking about the big one. Like I said, it's the HasLab, the Star Wars, the Vintage Collection, HasLab, Sarlacc Pit. Oops, did I say that out loud? No, it's not the Sarlacc Pit. I don't think it is the Sarlacc Pit. Okay. I mean, we all know it's obviously the Dagobah playset. No, it's not that either. So next week, I hope that you'll be here both nights. But if you can't, definitely try and make that May the 4th live stream because it is going to be lit. It's going to be lit. May the 4th, big deal. Awesome guests. Lots to talk about. It's going to be one for the Cantina guest books. I was going to say record books. It'd probably be more like a guest book if you went into Cantina and you just signed the guest book, right? I guess. Do cantinas have guest books like hotels in certain places do? I don't know. Museums and stuff. I have no clue, but we're gonna do that. Okay. We'll be the first cantina to have a guest book. And you all are the guests of honor for both of these shows. So make sure that you are there if you can. And they'll both be on repeat on YouTube if you can. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited. I haven't streamed with these guys in a bit. So I think since last December or something like that, when, Last Figure Standing was going on and we were all streaming about it. So this time next week, we'll be that much closer to knowing what the HasLab is. This time next week, we'll be hours away from knowing what the HasLab is. And that has me stoked. Okay. Officially knowing what the HasLab is. Let me reiterate that. So I'm excited. And I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm still banging the drum. It's freaking time for Tonica. It is time for us to it's time, y'all. It's time. It's definitely time. So yeah, we'll see what it is. We'll see what's announced next week. And it's gonna be a cool next fun and interesting next couple months to see how this HasLab plays out. So I hope you guys are excited for it. Even if you're not planning on backing the HasLab, you don't care about the HasLab, you've never cared about HasLabs, that's cool. Be with us here for the party because I think there'll be something for everybody. All right. Okay. I'm excited. I am excited and I just can't hide it. That's not how that goes at all. All right. So next, let's see what we got here. I'm going to take a quick look in the chat. See what you guys are talking about. The glasses, huh? Everybody's talking about the glasses? May the 4th, Pico V1. Yeah, thank you. Glamorous. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, definitely try and catch next week's shows. Definitely try and catch next week's shows because they're going to be good. Do we know what time Hasbro is going to announce the HasLab? Not that I've heard. I assume it's going to be in the morning. I'm guessing it's going to be probably like 10 a.m. Eastern. That's my guess. I imagine they're going to have a stream. But they haven't said the details quite yet. But I imagine it's going to be in the morning because it's kind of weird because it's a Saturday and Saturday is not like a news day. It's the weekend, right? So I feel like it's going to be early. They're probably going to send the press release. They're going to do the live stream. And we'll get to see like whatever mock-up prototype images that they have to share of the Rancor. I mean, oops, no. I'm messing with you guys. Did you see Steve Evans's Instagram poll about the top 5 most important attributes for GPC? If so, how would you rank them? Thank you for reminding us, Brett on Fat. I love that avatar. Is that a new avatar? That's awesome. Adam, I turned my basement fireworks into the Sarlacc pit. Fireplace. Did I say fireworks? Fireplace into the Sarlacc pit. That's awesome. No guest book, but it's customary to leave graffiti on the bathroom stall. That would track with like a cantina for sure. But hey, at least we'll know who was there, right? Just don't write I was here because then I won't know who I is. I saw the list pull articulation in my top with character death and world building after that. Keys to Ben's. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Did you see Beyond the Gates? Yeah, so there's new. We'll talk about that too. I forgot to mention that earlier. We'll talk about Beyond the Gates for Jurassic World soon. Do you think there will be any other reveals on May the 4th? It's possible. I don't think it would be the day of the HasLab, though. I think that they're going to, if, the day that you announce the HasLab, it's just going to be the HasLab because this isn't Comic-Con. This isn't like Toy Fair or a big event. This is on a Saturday. It's May the 4th, and this is what they've been hyping. I think it's just going to be the HasLab. But I do think that in the days leading up to May the 4th, there could be some other news. There could be some other announcements from Hasbro. Definitely. Still too soon. Yeah, it is. Sorry, Britt. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our first topic. All right. Let's start with the vintage collection. We'll start since we're kind of somewhat talking about that. Going to kick it over to my friends at banthaschool.com who have the official images here. I have them too. I have the press release, but I don't have it on a nice website like this. So we're going to borrow theirs. Thank you guys. All right, so there's two that we knew these were coming. They're already pipelined and announced, but here we go. Here are the there's a carded image for Cal Kestis from Jedi Survivor. This is him in his Imperial Officers guys. I still haven't played this game. I mean, I feel kind of bad about that, but I played the first one. It's just that it didn't. When they released it, I didn't have a PS5, and it was only on PS5 and not PS4. Which I have a PS4. I don't have a PS5, so I wasn't able to play it. But I think it's coming out on PS4, so either I'm going to upgrade finally and then get a PS5, or I'm just going to wait and get the game on PS4. I don't quite know yet what I'm going to do. But anyway, here's the figure. You can see that. It's a nice. The card back's a little weird. I mean, I don't mind the image per se, but he looks a little strange, doesn't he? Like, kind of the way he's like holding the lightsaber, but then looking at a weird. I don't know. It just kind of looks unnatural, his pose. The figure comes with a lot of accessories, though. And I know this is probably like all reuse, right? Like the head probably comes from the first Cal Kestis. and the outfit is just the Imperial officer, I'm guessing. And then the other accessories we've already gotten before. So this is an easy figure for them to do, right? It doesn't cost them any really R&D. But it is nice to see all the accessories, and I'm glad that the BD one is still is in here too. Yeah, figure looks good. He's got some like scratches on his face. BD1 looking cute in his black and orange paint palette. Yeah, I mean it looks like a nice figure. I'm obviously gonna pick it up. Oh, man, I'm just looking at this picture though. What kind of bothers me is the lack of the 90-degree movement in the elbows. Like, look at that. It just, if you could move those elbows just a little bit more, this picture would look a lot better. But the way that it is, it looks like he's wearing handcuffs. It doesn't look like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like he's cuffed. It doesn't look like he's marching around, a Star Destroyer with his hands just, calmly posed behind his back. It looks like he's wearing handcuffs. The other figure is the Mandalorian Judge, the figure that everybody in the world was asking for and had it #1 on their lists. Yeah, so Mandalorian Judge, I like okay, I'll tell you what I like here. When I look at this, look at the color, it just pops. You got the orange helmet, you got the purple chest armor, the green gauntlet, the yellow gauntlet. It kind of looks like one of those Hasbro retro prototype figures, doesn't it? All the colors. And then the card back has, that sky blue that they use on Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. It's nice. I like that when I look at this, there's a pop of color, because a lot of cards are kind of bland, right? Remember the Power Droid from a few years back that was released back in the Kenner days? That one was awesome because it was pink, right? Like, it just catches your attention. Like, this does too. It may not be the most exciting character or most exciting figure, but it pops, right? And if you're a card collector, then that's like extra cool. And if you're not, then it's still going to be a fun one. At least it's not another blue Mandalorian, right? Especially in Black Series, they're doing all the blue Mandalorians, right? If it's blue, they're going to do it, right? So I like the way it looks, I like the way it looks. Again, this is reuse, so this is a really easy figure for them to put together. Yeah, he looks very confident in this pose here. He's like standing there with his arm like, look at me. I'm the Mandalorian Judge. I'm going to judge who can shoot paintballs faster. The rocket looks nice too. I like how they put gold tips on the top of the jetpack. Yeah, that's a cool picture. This one just looks like he's dancing, kind of like Saturday Night Fever kind of thing. The flying pose looks cool. And this one, he's just kind of hanging out, popping a few sunflower seeds in between rounds that he's judging. So yeah, those are the TVC figures. There's only 2, and they're, not the most exciting, but they're cool. What do you guys think? I love ISB Cal. Yeah, he's fun. He's definitely fun. He's too small. And the card says his designer. I'm not sure I'm getting that. Kind of wish they'd diversify Cal's accessories a bit, since it's more scene-specific figure. Yeah, again, I haven't played the game, so I don't really know if there's something else he should have come with. Love that Power Droid card. I do too. That's like a top 5 card back. Like, off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Power Droid, Princess Leia, Yavin Ceremony. I'm gonna go with the Luke Skywalker, the Death Star escape from the vintage collection back in like 2011. I'm gonna go with the recent Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi, where you can see his, the unmasked head on the card. And one more. Who's my other one? These are just off the top of my head. I probably, if I looked at a list, I'd probably be like, oh no, that one's better. I'm just going off the top of my head. And then I would say I'm kind of looking around the room at them. I'm just gonna go figuring Dan for now. Again, I would need to look at a list. I'm sure it would change. But off the top of my head, we should do a video about that. No, like a TVC series. Like, what are the top 5 like TVC cards? That'd probably be a good one. There's always room for another Mandalorian with the unique paint scheme in my collection. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I love Mandalorians. They're fun, but diversify it a bit. Let's get a little more from the Mandalorian than just the Mandalorian. Adam, you like the Judge? He's fun. No holster. Is he supposed to have a holster? I don't. Is he? Is he supposed to? I don't know if he's supposed to or not. I like this one. Burnt out on Mandos. Rogue One Death Trooper card back. That is a nice one too. Absolutely. Dr. Evison and Bum something about that red on the card with the Star Wars logo. Yeah, both of those look really good as well. Both of those are really nice. All right, so that is those. I'm curious now. Is he supposed to have a holster? Does it show a holster? It kind of looks like it. Like he does. I mean, I'm not 100%, but I'm looking at this picture, and if you look at, he's folding his hands, or he's holding his hands right together. But if you look to either side of his gauntlets, it looks like there's the belt extends downwards, which kind of might indicate there should be a holster. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to replay that. Not that I don't want to rewatch the whole episode, but I'm gonna have to replay like, a few moments when, like, at the beginning of that episode when we see him. Thank you for pointing that out. I had not realized that. It looks like in the picture maybe he's supposed to have 2. Right? How interesting. All right. All right, so that is the new TVC. Let's stick with the topic of the vintage collection before we go over to Jurassic. So, is Target canceling the vintage collection? So this was the hot topic in the Star Wars collecting community last week. It was big news. Yakface reported that, they zeroed out the DPCI number, which is Target's internal number, and they weren't replacing it. It wasn't on any planograms. Yakface said, hey, this is happening. This appears to be what's happening. So, I had a video about it, talking about, why Target would potentially cancel carrying the vintage collection. And then we talked about it at length last week during our stream. So it turns out that no, they're actually not canceling TVC. And this is, this is from Yakface once again, which, Yakface kind of started this conversation, but at the same time, kind of capped off the conversation by confirming that it's not being canceled at Target. Let me go ahead and pull up the article from yakface.com. So essentially there is a new DPCI for TVC. What is a little strange is how there was no space on the planogram for TVC, and now there's, at least at this store here, there is a sticker for it. There is a peg for it. I know that at my local Target, and I was just there yesterday, they still do not have this peg. They still don't have any of the vintage collection. So I'm not sure. Is it possible only some Targets are going to be carrying TVC? It could be. But as of right now, it looks like to some extent, they're going to keep selling the vintage collection at Target to some extent. What that extent is, I don't know. How will it differ from the last time when they clearanced out all the DPCIs in recent weeks? It's an interesting question, and it's one that's only going to be able to be told by time playing out, right? Just like I said at the end of the video last week about this topic, time will tell. And that's really the only way we'll find out something like this is time will tell. But in any case, it's good to see that, it's going to continue at Target. I mean, that's good news. Like I said, Target is one of the pillars of carrying this line. As far as retailers go, you have Target, you have Walmart, you have Amazon, and then you have the fan channel. You got Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, and Hasbro Pulse. And you kind of need all of those if you want TVC to continue to expand and to thrive and to grow. And that's what we all want, right? We're happy with what we're getting now for the most part. There are some duds here and there. But we want it to expand, right? The world building is what it's all about here when you're talking about TVC. So we wanted to continue to evolve, to develop. So yeah, at the end of the day, at least some targets, as far as we can tell, are going to continue carrying TVC. There's a new DPCI number. And yeah, I'm hoping that the same happens to my local stores because they still don't have a peg for them. So I'm hoping that they start carrying them once again. Adam says, always in motion is the future of the vintage collection. Indeed. Caesar, how is it going? Oh, there you are. Anyway, Bob, my local Target didn't have any TVC today, and Epic Heroes in the place where TVC was, but that Target usually had a small TVC selection, so they could just be between shipments. Yeah, could be. Could be. We'll see. I think as weeks, in the following weeks, months, we'll get a better picture of what's going on. But I definitely do hope they continue carrying the line at all Targets. Not just some, not just like high volume, toy Targets. Because, from what I've been hearing, they're going to, Target has a plan to decrease its toy footprint in store by 20%. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's when that's going to happen. But Target, Walmart, none of these stores are about selling toys, right? They're about selling bars of soap. They're about selling toothpaste. They're about selling loaves of bread, right? That kind of thing. If you buy a toy, awesome, but the margins on a lot of toys are very small, right? So 20% is pretty steep. I think we all thought that with the death of Toys R Us, that they were going to step up, that they were going to start making, start, and I know some stores did, like start creating more shelf space, right? But not all. And now it's going in the opposite direction. And I think when you look at that kind of tells you something about why Toys R Us closed. It's not because Toys R Us, Toys R Us wasn't perfect by any means, but on a larger scale, fewer people are buying toys. Fewer kids are buying toys. I see it every day, right? Working in education, I see it every day. And my own, nieces and nephews, I see, those trends changing. So 20% is big. 20% is big. So we will see. We will see. But I think as long as adult collectors are collecting this stuff, they're going to keep selling it online at the very least. So I'm not too worried about that. But like I was saying last week, I do think that the bubble is starting to burst. The big collecting bubble that started around 2013, 2014, 2015. I think that's all going to, that bubble is indeed starting to burst. So, nothing lasts forever. All good things come to an end, but bad things don't last forever either. And as we have seen, vintage collection is proof. Not all things that end fail to rear their heads again, right? So I'm not too worried. To be honest. All right, so why don't we start? Why don't we switch gears? We're going to talk about some Mattel Jurassic World for some of you folks. So I hope the 40-some of you all that are in here right now don't bail on me, because we're going to talk Jurassic World for just a little bit. But hey, that was a big part of what we did here on the Cantina for many years. And I still collect the line. So I'm going to jump over to Collect Jurassic, my pal Tim, on Instagram, so we can take a look at what those reveals are. So as I told you guys last week, when it comes to Jurassic, mostly what I'm collecting these days is the Hammond collection, the Jurassic Park 93 collection, and, odds and ends that grab my attention from the main line. This week, there was a Behind the Gates episode, and there's new dinos on the way, you guys. So we'll start with the big one, or there's two big ones, honestly. The first one is the Giganotosaurus, as seen in Jurassic World Dominion. This one was probably, I would say, the one that was in most dire need of being made, to be honest. And I say that because, interestingly, Mattel only made one when Fallen Kingdom came out of this dinosaur. I thought they were going to make more, like one a year or something. They didn't. They only made one, and it was not good. It was very gimmicky. If you have it, you know what I mean. It's pretty bad. So I think more than any dino at this point, this is the one that was needed in Hammond collection. And from what I can see, it looks great. It looks better than the T-Rex that they came out with a couple years back. I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited. You can pre-order it now from Target.com. Yeah, look at it. It's a good-looking dinosaur. And you know what I love about the Hammond collection, and yeah, I did lose about a quarter of you guys in the last couple minutes. We'll come back to Star Wars, don't worry. What I like about this one here is, you got the articulation with the Hammond collection. You've got, it's supposedly more geared towards adult collectors, right? And I think in some cases they kind of hit that mark. And in some cases, they kind of don't, especially the small dinos. They're not doing a good job with those. Dimetrodon, the Raptors, the Gallimimus, that smaller segment needs improvement. But the bigger ones, the medium to bigger ones, they're doing a really nice job with. The humans also need work. Like, yeah. But Giganotosaurus is a really exciting one. I can't wait for this one. Like, I had the old one on my shelf, the one that I'm saying wasn't very good for a while, and I don't have it on my shelf anymore because, well, it's not good. But this one, once it comes in, I'm gonna have to make room for sure because this is bad. It's really, bad in a good way. And then the other big one is Therizinosaurus, also from Jurassic World Dominion. So it's kind of neat that they're doing both of these at the same time. And this was kind of one of the unique, like, new dinosaurs, and probably one of the best things about Dominion. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Dominion. Like, I didn't love it. I was really sad that I didn't love it because as a lifelong Jurassic Park fan, who saw that original movie in 1993 in the movie theater, the potential of Dominion, for me just fell flat. There was so much potential bringing back those classic characters, and I just don't think that they didn't stick the landing with that. So this here was one of the standouts for me from that film. And even though it's not like a T-Rex or a Giganotosaurus or an Indominus Rex, it's not like a hunting, meat-eating like monster. It really shows you that, you don't need to be that to be a threat, right? You can be a threatening dinosaur and be a Therizinosaurus because you have those Edward Scissorhands claws that are. I didn't even know that this dinosaur was real until maybe like within the last 10 years or so. I think that's when I found that it was. I think it was the Papo dinosaur was the first time I saw it, and that was probably released like going on a decade ago now. So I was excited to hear it was going to be in the movie, and yeah, it was cool. And this dinosaur looks really cool. Another picture of it right here. It looks good. Proportions look really nice. Interestingly, like what I'm curious about is the way it's posed. Like you see how it looks kind of upright. I don't know if that's how it stood, because a lot of the poses I've seen with this, even on like Beyond the Gates, it's kind of posed this way. So I hope that it's able to achieve like a more like neutral, like more horizontal kind of pose. But like I said, both of these are on Target.com. You can pre-order them now. But that wasn't all that was revealed for Jurassic. I mean, in an official capacity, yes. But we also learned that there's going to be some more reveals coming later, right? So there is this Jurassic World Reimagined collection. I have no idea what that means. Nobody knows what that means. I guess if you work at Mattel, you might know what it means, but they're not talking. I mean, they don't even send out press releases, right? They don't even engage on social media with their consumers. So I mean, I don't know what it is, but this is the Jurassic World Reimagined collection. I have no idea what that means. I hope they're not gonna. I mean, I hope they don't do something like crazy, like the Chaos Effect from the 90s. I hope they don't do something like the Dino Hybrid that Hasbro did, which I'm actually becoming kind of nostalgic for. Isn't that weird? It was a horrible toy line, right? I mean, the whole Hasbro Jurassic World toy line in 2015 was pretty bad. But I'm becoming nostalgic, and I don't know why. I don't even have a lot of those anymore. I sold a lot of them off. Now I'm kind of like becoming nostalgic and kind of thinking I wish I hadn't. But yeah, so I don't know what this is. Maybe you guys want to throw an idea in the chat what you think Reimagined is. But I have no clue. I'm eager to see what it is. I just hope that what it comes down to for me at this stage in the game, an adult collector has been buying Jurassic Park toys since 1993. I want, if they're going to do collector dedicated lines, that you cater to a collector dedicated collector, somebody that is discerning, somebody that is, very much looking for that, the vintage collection quality for their toys. And I think in some cases they're accomplishing that with Hammond Collection, but in a lot they're not. Like the humans, the small dinosaurs, no, they're not. So they need to do some work in those areas. But yeah, Jurassic World Reimagined. You guys let me know here in the chat what you think that is, because it's anyone's guess at this point. Unofficially, we did see some stuff, and I may need to go back a little bit because I don't remember if I touched on this Spinosaurus. This was 3 weeks ago, but this is a Walmart exclusive epic attack slash and attackin'. Does it really say attack twice in the name? Jurassic World epic attack slash attackin' Spinosaurus. That's a mouthful. They're really running out of ideas for these names. I don't like this. I mean, I don't mind the idea of it, but yeah, it doesn't look. They really need to go back to the drawing board on Spinosaurus, and I hope that they do that with the Hammond collection at some point, because this is kind of ugly. It doesn't even look like, I get what they're going for. It's like a zombie looking kind of dinosaur, but I want like an accurate one. The 2018 one wasn't that great either. I think we may have touched on this one. This image comes from Smith's Toys in the UK. This is another Tyrannosaurus Rex with big teeth, like really, 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 really big teeth, like it's missing its gums or something. So it just has these big teeth. Yeah. This is for Chaos Theory, the show that's coming, the animated series. Baby dinos, I love these. This is 3 days ago. Juvenile Patasaurus. Look at how adorable that is. The coloring, it's not too bad. It is actually quite good, but I don't know that it fits the films in any way, but it is cute. These are the small ones, right? So this one is also the Danger Dinos, right? Rawsukis. I don't know how to say this one. Rowsukis. I have no clue. Somebody out there knows, and their name ain't Victoria. But this one doesn't look bad either. I kind of dig the colors actually. And then there's a Gallimimus with an articulated jaw. Kind of looks like the Hammond collection, but it's not going to be as articulated. Not bad. Not bad. Paint's pretty decent as well. And then a Dimorphodon. We haven't seen this one in a while. Dimorphodon, but it's the same sculpt that they've been reissuing since 2018. Hey, I guess if it ain't fixed, I totally butchered that one. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I mean, so it's okay. I don't know that I need, a 13th one or 14th one or however many there are. And then this started shipping too. The Track and Chase Dennis Nedry. I got a shipping notification for this yesterday. So Target is shipping these out now. They are shipping those out. Yeah. I did see some pictures of some other Mattel Jurassic toys. I don't know that they've been made public yet, so I don't think I can comment on them without getting anyone in trouble. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't comment on these without getting anybody into trouble. But I did see some other ones that are coming for Hammond Collection. And they're the smaller scale / humans. And some of them look good, some don't. I thought maybe there were pictures of them online, but apparently there's not. Apparently they were just sharing those with me. So yeah, there's more stuff coming for Hammond Collection as well that you will see in due time. All right, so I'm curious what you guys are thinking. What are you thinking about Reimagine Jurassic Jurassic World and all that stuff? What do you think is happening to Danger Packs and Savage Strike? Target seems to drop both. I don't know. I kind of feel that too. I haven't seen them at Target in months. I have not. I do know those are consistently the best sellers for Mattel. So I would be surprised if they did stop selling them. My guess is it's probably just trouble keeping them in stock kind of thing. But maybe there's a production shortage. Part of what it could be too is that we're in that process where they're switching over to Camp Cretaceous, or not Camp Cretaceous, to Chaos Theory. And usually with toy lines, there is a delay when you switch from one product line to another. So that could be it as well. That Giga. But where's my Spino? Jason, we're on the same page. We need that Spinosaurus. Mary, you ordered both Hammond Collection pieces. Very nice. I have not. And it's mostly because Target does that weird thing where they ping your credit card every few days, and I hate it. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. So, and a lot of the time Target stuff goes on sale. So even when it's on pre-order, it goes on sale. It's weird. Very weird. But if you pre-ordered it at a full price, they don't always give you the sale price on your pre-order. It's really strange. Target pre-ordering is kind of is odd. Dodgson, the new figures from Behind the Gates look great. The sculpts look fantastic. However, I'm no longer interested in the dinos in the sequel trilogy. Fair. If they do a Spinosaurus and a Velociraptor, then I'd buy them in a heartbeat. Mary, I told myself no more dinos, but I can't. I mean, with dinosaurs like those two, you kind of got to. I mean, nobody else is doing those at that price point. Unless you want a statue, then you can go to like Nanmu or one of those companies, but you're going to pay, well over $100. It's going to be a lot smaller, and it's strictly going to be a statue. It's not going to have any articulation. Maybe the jaw, but that's about it. I wasn't a fan of Dominion as well. They had so much potential, but they shoved so much nostalgia in your face with a complicated plot that made no sense. Yeah, that's fair. I'd assume the pose is because it's probably front heavy. I thought the same thing when I was looking at those. I want to throw my hat in the ring and say the reimagined collection might be the Hammond collection with revised sculpts. I may be wrong, but just a guess. I hope that's not what it is. That would not be a good business move if that's what it was. Jason says maybe it's scientific accurate models. I mean, maybe. But reimagine though, like I think it's like a what if series, right? I'm thinking it's like an alternate kind of thing, like an alternate universe sort of thing. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That Spino looked like it crawled out of a toilet. Do you guys remember the Save the Spino campaign from 2018? You guys remember that? Waiting on the Diplodocus. Reimagine will be carbonized. Imagine that. Definitely getting that Rhinosuchus and Gallimimus recently with the Habitat Trike. Mainline toys have been improving. They have. They have absolutely been improving. They're doing a much better job. I wish they'd go back and re-engineer some of them. But yeah. Reimagine will be total revamp and introduce Dino Riders. Imagine that. Pico, we want to reimagine equals repainted in wild colors. Maybe. What if they were like neon colored glow in the dark dinos? That would actually be kind of cool. I really hope they ain't the truth, but honestly, that sounds like something Mattel would do. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so that's our Mattel Jurassic World talk. We're going to go ahead and leave it at that. All right, so what is next on our list? Well, more big news this week, and that is that Hasbro is licensing out Power Rangers to Playmates. Now, Hasbro announced, I think it was last summer, that the Power Rangers Lightning Collection was going to go on the back burner. It was being not retired but rested for the foreseeable future, and that's when they were doing like the new the 2.0 versions, if you will, of the main Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? But now, they're saying that they're sub-licensing out to Playmates. Now, here's the press release right here. Hasbro and Playmates Toys enter strategic relationship to produce and distribute Power Rangers product globally starting in 2025. I'm not going to read the whole press release, but essentially what it says here is, as part of the agreement, Playmates has the licensing rights to create products based on Power Rangers. And an interesting note here is that the deal, it says the deal encompasses global distribution across all regions, excluding Asia. That's interesting to me. I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm not quite sure why. I know that Bandai is huge in overseas. So I'm wondering if maybe they haven't announced that Bandai is going to be taking over part of that. I know we don't have a huge Power Rangers like base here, on VC. I personally did collect all the Mighty Morphin Lightning Collection. But what interests me in this topic to talk about anyway, more than anything else, is the fact that Hasbro would license out one of its properties, right? Because we know that Hasbro owns Power Rangers, right? It's like G.I. Joe. It's one of their licenses. It didn't used to be Saban's Power Rangers, right? That's what it was in the past, but now it's Hasbro's Power Rangers, and it has been for years now. So that's what's interesting to me about this. As as you look at this here, it's interesting because Playmates right now, the big thing, the thing they're known for more than anything else is Ninja Turtles, right? Not so much anymore, but the late 80s and 90s, that was, one of the biggest toy lines of all time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that was like all Playmates, right? Except now, of course, you have NECA, you have Super 7, you have all these other companies doing them. But, back then it was all Playmates, right? And more recently, the big line that they have is the Godzilla and Kong line that's been in stores since earlier this year. So that's been a really big selling line for Playmates as well. So why would Hasbro do this? Why would they sub-license out Power Rangers, one of their own in-house brands, out to Playmates? Well, if we look at the history, let's go back to 2005 or so. At that time, if you recall, maybe you do, maybe you don't. At that time, Hasbro sub-licensed out the 12-inch figure segment of Star Wars out to Sideshow, right? Hasbro had the rights to 12-inch figures of Star Wars characters since the 1970s. And then suddenly in 2005, they announced that they were sub-licensing out, because remember, they license Star Wars from Lucasfilm. They announced at the time that they were sub-licensing out the 12-inch segment out to Sideshow. And then that's when you see Sideshow creating these 12-inch. They were about $100 at the time. They weren't cheap, right? They started with like the prequel characters like Anakin Skywalker, and there were even some Jedi, in there too. And then you have Hot Toys that came out later. And then in the late early 2010s, you see Hasbro going back and doing their own, once again, 12-inch Star Wars, right? They were doing like what we used to call jokingly the shampoo bottles. Does anybody remember that? The shampoo bottle Star Wars 12-inch. I think they call those now like not epic heroes, but like the hero figures, right? They're 12 inches, and they do them for Marvel. They do them for other toy lines. Other companies do them too. Mattel does them too for Batman. But that was the first time they started doing 12-inch Star Wars at Hasbro since the earlier 2000s. So they went almost 10 years without doing any, because they sub-licensed 12-inch out to Sideshow. And then Hot Toys started doing them, and I don't really know how it works at this point, because even Disney does them now, which of course Disney owns Lucasfilm. I don't know the legalities of a licensee, meaning Hasbro, sub-licensing out a license that they license from a licensor to a sub-licensor, if that makes sense. If you're following me, I hope you're following me. But that's what they did, right? Okay, now fast forward a little bit later, years later, actually. G.I. Joe, right? Hasbro brings back G.I. Joe, and before long, they license out G.I. Joe to Super 7. But Hasbro's still making G.I. Joe, and Hasbro's making and Super 7's making G.I. Joe, so they're making them at the same time. It's interesting, right? With this now, they're licensing out Power Rangers to Playmates, not without, it seems, any plans for Hasbro themselves to manufacture Power Rangers. It's just like, here you go, Playmates. Now you're going to take the reins here. So why would they do that? Let's go back to that question. Why would they do that? What does this mean? This is an example of, like I was saying earlier, Hasbro being the sole owner of the Power Rangers franchise. Like with G.I. Joe, which they also own, they are able to license out their own their own properties that they own, right? They're the licensor, like they're the Disney. Hasbro is the Disney of G.I. Joe and Power Rangers, right? They can license them out to other manufacturers, and that's what they're doing here with Power Rangers. Now, what struck me as interesting with this is the fact that it doesn't seem like Hasbro is going to do any Power Rangers. It's all going to be Playmates. So that's the first reason that they would do this, is because they can, essentially, right? All their risk goes to Playmates, and by licensing it out to Playmates, they're making their money, right? They're making their money already, right? I don't think they're going to be getting any royalties per se, unless that's worked out in their contracts, but they're already making their money just by licensing it out. There's no risk on Hasbro's part. It's just Playmates taking out all the risk by coming up with whatever it wants to make. And, I'm sure there's approvals and stuff, right? They got to say, Hasbro, hey, we want to do this product line. We want to do this. We want to do that. So, that's the first part of why they would do that. Second part of why they would do this is because what I foresee is Hasbro is kind of trending away from being a mass manufacturer of kids' toys and kind of being more of trying at least to become more of an adult geared sort of company, right? They're kind of skewing away from being a toy company more towards being a collectibles company. That doesn't mean they're going to stop making My Little Pony, and they're going to stop making, Ouija boards and whatever they make these days, Monopoly, and all those games, right? But I think we've seen it with the Vintage Collection, with the Black Series, with the G.I. Joe Classified, with the Adventure Series from Indiana Jones, with HasLabs. They're going more for that collector-oriented type audience that they have not traditionally tried to capture. Like, adults have collected Star Wars toys and G.I. Joes and and Marvel for decades, right? But back when in the 2000s, when you had Star Wars, the Legacy Collection, Star Wars, the 30th Anniversary Collection, those were still marketed towards kids, and adults were buying them. And yeah, the figures and the character selection were getting better and more broad, but they were still marketed towards kids, right? Think about all the vehicles and the mini rigs and all that. Today, like, I think they know that their audience is at this point has become more adults, right? So they're kind of skewing away from that. They're becoming more of a boutique kind of company when it comes to those brands, at least. So they did what they needed to do with Power Rangers, and if it was working perfectly, I think they would have kept going with it. But I think maybe sales weren't what they expected. So I would say that's the third part of the equation is the third reason is, sales may not have been what they had needed. But I think they did a really good job managing the line personally. And that's just like coming from a perspective of, I'm collecting just the Mighty Morphin, not the Power Rangers in space and the Power Rangers on Mars or whatever those, I don't even know. But they did what they needed to do with it for the most part. I think they could have tapped into 3 3/4 inch, and they didn't. I think they could have tapped in more into like retro, and they didn't. And that's fine. So now maybe Playmates is going to do those things. Playmates is in my opinion incapable of delivering a collector geared type product to audiences that collect Marvel Legends or Power Rangers Lightning Series or Star Wars The Black Series or the Vintage Collection. Playmates is a toy company. It's the complete opposite of the direction that Hasbro is trending. Like I said, Hasbro is trending more adult geared, more boutique, and Playmates is sticking. They're doubling down on. I mean, look at the Godzilla and Kong line, right? It's very plasticky, mass produced, inexpensive, and quite decent, to be honest, toys. But they're not hiding it at all. These are kids' toys, right? That Playmates is doing. And I anticipate that with Power Rangers, it's going to be the exact same thing. I don't think Power Rangers at Playmates is going to be Lightning Collection. They may well do a 6-inch scale or a 7-inch scale, who knows? But it's not going to be anything near what Playmates, or what Hasbro has been doing for the last few years. It would probably be closer to what Bandai was doing, even before that, and probably not even that, to be honest. Because again, Playmates isn't about like adult collectors. They're more about, these are kids' playthings, and we take pride in making that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We need those companies to exist. But I think if you were an adult Power Rangers collector with Lightning Collection, then that line's best days are over, unfortunately. So yeah, I think those are all the reasons that Hasbro made this move. Again, the big reason here being they own the company. They own Power Rangers, right? They can license it out. They can say, Playmates, here, pay us to use this. We don't have to take any of the risk. You guys take all the risk. You make the product, and we'll just take your money by licensing out to you. And then the third reason is, sales probably weren't what Hasbro had hoped. So yeah, it's an interesting move, and it does make me wonder, are they going to stop at Power Rangers? Because Hasbro owns other things too, right? Will they do something like this with Transformers? Will they do something like this with Indiana Jones? Probably not Indiana Jones, because I don't know that there's enough of an audience to do that. I think they did everything they needed to do with that line as well. But it's interesting. I don't think they'll do this with any lines that they don't directly own. I don't think they're not going to do this with Marvel. They're not going to do it with Star Wars, unless, like I said, it's sub-licensing out certain segments within those product lines, as they did with Star Wars 12-inch back in the mid 2000s. That would really be the only thing I could see them doing, if that's even possible to do these days. But yeah, it's an interesting development, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, as you can tell. And yeah, we'll see what happens at Playmates. I'm whether the product is good or bad, I'm interested to see what Playmates does. So we will see. We will see. All right, let's go to the chat. Battery Bob, sounds like what Hasbro's doing with G.I. Joe, licensing it out. Yep, exactly what we covered after you said this, I'm sure. Tim, they weren't making money off of it. Yeah, it's one of the reasons we gave to Dodgson. I will not forget what Hasbro did to 3/4 modern G.I. Joes. That got in too late and they killed it off. Yeah, those were really good figures. Battery Bob, but licensing to Playmates, Hasbro gets to bring in money while Playmates takes all the risks. Yep. So definitely all of those things that we covered later. Probably clearing out space to purchase another 12. And, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Hasbro is going to keep trying to grow its portfolio by purchasing other licenses. I think that's definitely something that's going to happen. They're going to try and acquire other properties that they can make part of their portfolio and then continue to do this. I mean, Hasbro's figured out, what works and what doesn't. I mean, there's not as many things going to clearance these days when you're talking about the collector lines. They've kind of figured it out. I mean, they're far from perfect as far as product selection goes, but I think they've kind of gotten to that point where they know what their audience is, and they're still making kids things, obviously. You got the Epic Force or Epic Hero Series, whatever it's called, the new Star Wars, the 5 POA ones. So they're obviously still trying to cash in on that, but they know what they're doing. G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, and Light Brights have been Hasbro's bread and butter. Yeah, they're going to keep doing that kind of stuff. For sure. Hasbro makes Ouija boards. Yeah, I think they still do. At least they were for a long time. I believe they're still making those. You can buy them at Target, or I know I've seen them at Target at least. Star Wars and Parker Brothers board games they inherited from Kenner. Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to continue to do things like that, I think. I wish Hasbro would license out Micronauts instead of doing nothing with them. Yeah. As Dan Larson says, Hasbro till all are one. Yeah. I mean, basically it's Hasbro and Mattel, you know. You have these smaller boutique companies like Super 7 and NECA and, you know, Medicom and whatnot. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's Hasbro and it's Mattel. I wouldn't be surprised if Hasbro acquires Playmates at some point, to be honest, you guys. I think things might happen in that direction someday. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch gears here. Where are we at? We are at, I guess we're past toys now. What? Past toys? How sad. That makes me sad. This is going to be quick. All right. Then we're going to keep talking about toys. I want to talk about toys, but the Bad Batch. All right. One more episode to go. What's going to happen? I don't know. I have no idea. But this week's episode, there's only one more episode, right? But I kind of feel like they've got a lot of work to do in that one episode. I hope they can cram it into 22 minutes or whatever these episodes are. I hope it's a longer episode. I mean, it's not like these are airing on TV and they need to have commercial breaks. So why are they 22 minutes? I hope that they stretch this one out a little bit longer so that they answer some of these questions, because there's a lot that kind of needs to be explained. And it could be the kind of thing where, we'll explain it in the comics or the video games or the novels, or somehow in the future, later down the road, years later, when nobody, is thinking about it anymore. I don't know. But I hope that they explain several things with this last episode. But this last episode was fun. Admiral, or former Vice Admiral Rampart, is growing on me. I didn't care for the guy at all in previous seasons, but he's fun. He's fun. I'm glad that they brought him back. He's actually kind of entertaining, especially his interactions with the Bad Batch. So we're not going to talk spoilers, but I did want to touch on, he is a good part of. I'm glad they brought him back, and I'm eager to see what happens in this final episode next week. And of course, we will be talking about it next week, and it probably will be a spoiler discussion, only because it's going to be over by then. The series is going to be completely over, so we'll probably be talking spoilers next week for Bad Batch. And yeah, what about that little? I'm going to talk about it real quick too, because it's not even it's been weeks now. But they're holding the kids, right? On the planet, right? What is it, Tanis? They're holding the kids there. Some of the kids. The little teddy bear like baby that was brought in a few episodes back, like. Every time I see that, like, it just kind of makes me smile. Like, oh man, this poor little kid, but so cute as well. I want a figure of that guy. Maybe it would need to be a plush. Maybe that wouldn't be even better. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And kind of taking a look here, and you guys are talking. Yeah, Jason Omega's the old lady who asks Ray who she is. I hope not. I hope not. Anyway, I kind of think my mind's going in various directions now. But yeah, Bad Batch, it's getting good, but we need a lot of answers to unfold in this last episode, and I'm going to kind of leave it at that. All right. I'm going to talk about my new acquisitions. In the meantime, two things. I want you guys to let me know in the comments here what you've acquired this week. And also, what else you want to talk about regarding toys? Any other toy-focused topics? Let me know what those are. And, we'll talk about it, because, it's just me. There's no other guests. We're not on anybody's schedule, just mine and yours, which you can tap out at any time, but I got to keep going. I'm going to keep going here, you guys. So you let me know what you want to talk about in the comments, and we'll get to it. New acquisitions. Let me jump over to my Instagram page, Victoria's Cantina, and I'll show you guys. I'll start showing you guys what I got. All right, let's see here. For me, One of the things I got this week was this right here. I got the latest wave of the vintage collection. This just started shipping from Entertainment Earth. Thankfully, Entertainment Earth is, I think, it's 2 counties over in the LA area. So they, I get their stuff pretty much the next day once it ships. So latest wave of TVC. It's not an exciting wave by any means. In fact, it's the only brand new figure here is Huyang, which, there's only one Huyang per case, so I haven't even opened him because I'm going to wait till I can get a second one later. But he's the only new figure. Everything else here is basically reuse. Grogu's reuse, the Mandalorian, the Mines of Mandalore is reuse. The Super Commando Mandalorian captain guy is a fleet commander. He's reuse. And obviously Axe Woves is reuse. So you have 3 Mandalorian figures in this assortment. And then you also get Ahsoka being carried forward from the Ahsoka show. She's in here once again. It's an interesting case assortment. Who else is in this case? There's one other figure in this case. Who is it? Oh, it's Admiral Thrawn. I had to look at him. It's Admiral Thrawn. So you get an Admiral Thrawn in this case, which I already had both of those. So it's like, I wish I would have carried forward. I mean, Thrawn's probably a smart one, but, Ahsoka, I don't know. Maybe they could have carried forward Chopper or, a more demanded character. Even Prev Isla, maybe. But yeah, so it's not an exciting wave by any means, but this is that wave they had to scramble together after the Skeleton Crew got pushed out because of the writer strikes last year. So Huyang really is the star of the wave, and unfortunately, he kind of like falls to the wayside because his wave mates, are not that exciting. So I got that. And I think I already talked about these, but let's talk about them again. These came in last week. Maybe I didn't talk about them, but I opened them last weekend. I took some time to pull them out of the boxes, and they're pretty awesome. I know that, a lot of us were kind of frustrated that, it's not an entire 501st pack, or it's not an entire 332nd Battalion. It's just kind of a mix of different clones, which is kind of frustrating if you're trying to army build. But these are legit. Like, these are the best clones Hasbro has ever made in 3 3/4 inch scale, hands down. And it's not even like, it's by like a wide margin. Like, they're really, really good. I got 2 of these, and I do intend to order more of them later. I just don't want to order like too many of them at once because that's expensive. I still think a solid 501st would have been like the best selling like case, like one of these sets ever. But the mix and matching doesn't bother me quite as much, to be honest, as it did initially. I still wish I could get some of these more easily, more 501st, more 332nd, but the white clones are actually really nice. Like, I'll show you the picture here. So on the left, you have the new one, and on the right, you have the one that came out for the vintage collection as part of it's the Andor Phase 2 Clone Trooper. It's you can see that the one on the left has a much better visor. It's like eons better than the old one, just because they changed the helmet and gave it an actual helmet, an actual head, right? It doesn't have an unmasked head underneath, so it's not a bulky, oversized bucket head. The only thing the problem, and I outlined this in this post here, the problem that occurred, you guys, is that what they did here is they in the process of correcting the visor, which was too narrow and too skinny, as you can see on the original release, what happened is they did away with the little teeth on the mouth part, if you will, of the helmet. They're barely there. You can barely see them. On the previous one, you can see them pretty well. On the new one, they kind of like, you can't really tell that they're even there. So I'm a little, it's a little frustrating that they kind of, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back in a way. Maybe more like 3 steps forward, 1 step back, because it's a great figure. but it's just too bad that it just falls short of perfection because one detail fell by the wayside once that happened. But these clone packs are great. I'm very happy with it. Other thing that I've added to my collection. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I just had to airdrop these to my computer. That's all I have for Star Wars, but I got some Jurassic stuff. So I'm gonna show you guys. These just came in today. I got a shipment from Big Bad Toy Store. Came in today. Big box with a bunch of stuff. So Mattel Jurassic World. I talked about these last week because these links went up on Big Bad Toy Store, and then they got taken down earlier this week because they weren't supposed to be up in the first place. Go figure. So Big Bad Toy Store had to pull them. They're not on their page anymore, but I told you guys about them last week, and I hope if you wanted them, you were able to order them. Which you'll be able to get them later, just if you wanted to get the jump on them. They were up before they were supposed to be, but I guess they're actually street dated for later. Oops. So I ordered them. Like I said, I don't really buy all the mainline these days, but I do kind of pick and choose when something catches my eye. And Mattel is doing a really good job lately with their core assortment. Like they're getting better. And these are my dinos that I got today. So we have the Ceratosaurus. Seems like a brand new sculpt. We got Majungasaurus Major. We got Parasaurolophus, and we got Pachyrhinosaurus. And I think these are all brand new sculpts. And they're great. I think the standout is the Majungasaurus, which I thought was going to be maybe my least here, but it's actually really good. I'm really happy with how these turned out. And if Mattel keeps doing cool things with the main line, then I'm going to have to kind of get back into buying more of them again because, I'm all for the quality, right? At this stage in the game, these are mass produced, but they're quality. That's the kind of thing I'm after. All right. What else was in here? What else was in my box from Big Bad Toy Store? All right, let me show you. So, I'm not a big Godzilla collector or a big King Kong collector, but I know I showed you guys a few weeks ago now. I got a King Kong figure, a little one, that I happen to have right here. Actually, I know I showed you guys him before, and he's pretty good. For $10, he's hefty. He's nicely articulated, nicely sculpted. He has no business being $10. But this is the one that from Big Bad Toy Store that came in. So it's Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. I know my address is not in here. This is Playmates' address. And yeah, it's a nice box. Basically, when you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you see the core figure assortment for this toy line by Playmates. Playmates once again, right? And I was having a hard time finding some of the figures. And like I said, I don't really collect these, but my nephew has the whole product line and he loves it. And he kind of, instead of me rubbing off on him, he kind of rubbed off on me that, hey, these toys are out there and they're great. So I went ahead and started taking a liking to them. I saw the movie and I started picking them up, but I'm sure you don't want to just stare at a big brown box. I'm going to show you what was actually in there. So let me show you what was in this box right here. Inside that big brown box was this. These 5 figures. Interesting 5, right? Like you don't usually, why 5? Why not 6? I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, so these are from Big Bad Toy Store. You could order the case as I did, and it came with these characters. Now, initially there was supposed to be another Kong figure in here, but at the last minute they changed it. So that instead of Kong, it was 2 of the Scar Kings, right? Which I guess that's fine. I kind of would have preferred an extra Kong instead of 2 Scar Kings, but it is what it is. So you get Scar King, you get Godzilla with Heat Ray, you get Shimu, and you get the other, what's his name? Titanus Doug. You get Titanus Doug, and somebody help me here. I didn't take a picture of it, and I forget what the little guy's name is. I forget what the poor little guy's name is. The little Kong. Yeah, I hadn't found these, and I hadn't seen the Titanus Doug or the Scar King in stores until this week. And I was like, oh, well, I have that on the way from Big Bad Toy Store. So cool, I guess. But yeah, Shimo was probably my favorite in the new movie. So I definitely wanted to get that. And I did see it at Target like before the movie came out. Probably weeks before the movie came out, in fact. And I passed on it at the time. But now I have it. I never saw it again. So yeah, like I said, I don't normally collect these, but for the price, they're fun. They're $10 each. If you can get a case, get them all at once. The only thing that wasn't in here other than Kong, which I already had, was the Godzilla with the pink, the Evolved Godzilla with the pink plates, which is fine. I have the 2-pack that came with Shimo. That's the only other like basic that I bought other than Kong, and was that. And I guess I have a picture here, so let me go ahead and airdrop that, and I'll show you what that looks like real quick. I haven't opened any of these, but I can show you what I can show you really quick what those look like. I'm not sure which I like better. Here. But basically, there's the 2-pack of Shimo that comes with the Godzilla with the pink plates. And you can see it has more paint on it. It's like got better paint, more movie accurate paint maybe. And then there's the single carded figure here, which is more just like white and purple. I don't know which one I like better. I like the vibrant white and with the purple, looks cool, but also the higher quality paint on the 2-pack looks a little bit more film accurate, I guess. Anyway. And then one more thing that came in that Big Bad Toy Store shipment. One more thing that came in there was this right here. And this was kind of one of those things that you buy and it's like just kind of random, but I had my eye on it for a while, for months now, and I finally pulled the trigger. So this is a Super 7 reaction glow in the dark King Kong Godzilla. And this is the first I've ever bought of the Super 7 reaction Godzilla figures. But I don't know, it just kind of caught my eye, and the fact that it glowed in the dark was especially fun. And you guys want to see what it looks like glowing in the dark? I tried it. I put it out and I left it out on the porch, like in the sun, for a bit, and then I brought it in. And I was kind of impressed. Like it actually is very vivid. It's very bright. This is what it looks like glowing when it's glowing in the dark. It absorbs a lot of sun. And in a way, it's kind of like Godzilla would, I guess. He's absorbing like nuclear energy and then releasing it onto the world. I don't know. When I was a kid, glow in the dark was like the coolest thing, right? So it's the cool things, it's the fun things, the simplicity of toys sometimes that brings out the kid in you. Not the hot toys, not the super articulated vintage collection, the Marvel Legends. I love all that stuff. Honestly, love all that stuff. But sometimes it's the simple things that kind of you look at and you're like, oh, that's why I like toys. That's what got me into toys to begin with. Actually, something else did come in, and I didn't get a chance to take a picture of it before we went live, but I got wave 2 of the Marvel Legends X-Men 97. I got a case from Entertainment Earth that came in yesterday with all of wave 2. So I have all wave 1. I got all wave 2. Will there be a wave 3? That's what I'm really eager to see. Is there going to be a wave 3 of X-Men 97 Marvel Legends? Those are my acquisitions. I will, let's go to the chat. Let's see what you guys got this week. If there's any other topics you want to talk about, let me know in the comments and we will end on those. Let's see what you guys are saying. I see a lot of acquisitions. I'm excited to see what you guys have here. Dawson says, last Saturday I went to the swap meet and I picked up a Lost World Counter Utah Raptor for a minimum price of $4. What? No capture gear, human, or accessories, just the Raptor, but it was a steal. Yeah, that's cool. You might be able to find those on eBay, just the accessories, because I had a similar thing. Somebody gave me No, it was from eBay. I got the young T-Rex from the Lost World. I guess it was a Walmart exclusive, and it initially came with like a dino tracker or something. But this was just the dinosaur, the young T-Rex, the green one. And he didn't have anything, but I was able to get it all on eBay. And this was probably like 10 years ago. But it was nice to be able to do that. Now it'd probably be harder to do that, I guess. Pico B1, I bought right leg for my extra HK50 Legacy Build-A-Droid, completing him for the shelf. Very nice. Those pack-ins, those were the best pack-ins, the Build-A-Droid, because even if you didn't buy the whole wave, you didn't get everything to build a droid. I mean, what scene diorama from Star Wars that you recreate on your shelf can you not use like a random droid part, right? Like those are the best pack-ins. Coins are cool. Freeze frames were neat at the time, 20 some years ago. But the Build-A-Droid parts, those were the best pack-ins ever. They really, really were. Bread on Fett, the color in Huyang is disappointing. I agree. So here's where, Disney Store and the Disney parks sell their own version of Huyang, and it might be a better figure. Sometimes that happens, like with Chopper. And it may be the case with Huyang as well. Jason, I've only gotten into kaiju-related things this week. The Hayag Ghidorah, some Skullcrawlers, SHMA 72 Godzilla. I'm most excited for the Mayfix Venom and SH figure. It's the Guyver. Nice. Mary, Hot Toys Padme finally arrives, still waiting on C-3PO and Kenobi Vader. Very nice. Congrats, Mary. Isn't she amazing in person? I don't know if you've opened her yet, but she's one of those Padme that you see the pictures and you're like, not so sure. But when you get her in person, like, and I can't recreate it in photos. I've tried taking, putting her in different places, different lighting, getting pictures of her. It doesn't work. You have to have that figure in person to see how awesome it is. She just doesn't work. It's weird. Like with Hot Toys, sometimes it doesn't work in pictures the way that it works in real life. I don't get it, but that's the way it is. And yeah, I hope you get your other ones soon too. The only one of those I'm waiting on still is C-3PO. Battery Bob got a Professor Huyang, Count Dooku, and some battle droids. Also finished up custom figures. I'll post on IG mid-4th. Very nice. Looking forward to seeing those. Trevor, a new pickup, Naboo Royal Guard, TC4, and Glider Ewok, but no glider. Both loose. Oh, cool. TC4 was reissued during the 30th anniversary collection, the Saga Legends part of that line. And I think she came with a tray. So that might be worth picking up if you can find one of those cheap. The Naboo Royal Guard, they made a few of those different versions too. Those are cool. I got a Target exclusive Bingo sub and Naboo fighter for Micro Squad. Very cool. I got the submarine. I only got it because my friend Greg, are you watching? I don't know if he's watching or not. My friend Greg is all about that Gungan sub. He wants a HasLab Gungan sub. He wants a retro collection Gungan sub. He probably wants a real Gungan sub for all I know. But that's the only reason I bought it. I bought it in Greg's honor. Thank you, Greg, for making me spend money. No swappable heads. Pertaining to the Clone Trooper 4-pack, no, it does not have removable swappable heads. It just has the helmeted heads. You could, because the peg, I believe the ball joint for the head is the same size, you could pull the heads from the previously released Clone Troopers and put them on them if you wanted to. But that would defeat the purpose of having this really cool looking helmet. I wouldn't recommend. Hal Runner Base is the new trooper, wider than the Endor version clone. I think I showed that. Maybe not. Maybe after you asked this though. But yeah, it is. It is. You can see in my picture on Instagram that it's definitely a brighter white color. Yeah, I think we're all disappointed in that Huyang Mary. It's unfortunate. Tim, best white face 2 clones to date by a landslide. Honestly, they're so much better. They're awesome. I want like 100 of them in different factions, different legions, different battalions. Not all at the same time. Don't do it all. Please, Hasbro, don't do it all within a short time, but spread over the next few years for sure. Zombie Hunter 115. Hello. Suko as a weapon was the best part of the movie. Suko, that's what his name was. Yes, yes. When he was being tossed like a rag doll. I loved that. That was hilarious. Capitan, very good. Hey, how's it going? You're not late. No, but you can't be late to a cantina. A cantina is a cantina, right? Jedi Niner, how is it going? Good to see you this evening. The Super 7 mini Godzilla figs are surprisingly good. The Ultimates line is hit or miss. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, Trevor, I mean, glow in the dark. If you grew up like me, like, 90s, like, very tail end of the 80s, like glow in the dark was just a blast. And I always think of like the random like glow in the dark dinosaurs that were not any company in particular, but like tiny little like 4-inch dinosaurs. Those were always a lot of fun. Yeah, glow in the dark is awesome. I got the Shop Disney Sabine Rendell. She's awesome. Very nice. Very nice, Janine. Battery Bob, glad to see Nightcrawler in the intro and appearing more in X-Men 97. Yep, me too. By the way, did you guys see the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer? That was pretty cool. We need Gambit in white tux. The glowing pink ninja motorcycle 97 is killing it. Yeah, the show is great. Some of it's a little out there, but so was the case in the 90s, right? But yeah, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm watching it every week, and I have all the figures. The only figures I don't have are like the 4-inch, the Epic Heroes, that they're doing, and I'd like to get those. I know they're 5 POA, but Target has an exclusive bundle that has you can get them all at once. I need to get that eventually. Adam, no new acquisitions, but I did pull a lot of old toys out of storage, including the original Cantina playset. That is awesome. That is awesome. I just got BGJ38, but I believe a lot of collectors need that figure. Was a pain to complete it. What do you think? BGJ38. You got to refresh my memory on that one. I'm not remembering at the moment which one that is. Let me just Google it. BGJ38. BGJ38. Ah, okay. Legacy Collection. Yeah. That one was hard to fit. I never finished that one either. That one was hard. Because it was one of the last waves in Legacy Collection, I believe is what it was. And some of those figures were I'm trying to remember what wave that was. Was that the K Kruk wave with who was in it? Was it Jaina Solo? I'm trying to remember who else was in that wave. If that's the one that it was part of. But that's awesome you have it. That's really cool that you have it. Jedi Niner, pre-order Salacious Crumb, half-scale bust from General Giant. Rad. Episode 5 of X-Men 97 was a gut punch. Indeed, it was. It was something else. It was. I was like, oof. It's funny because that Epic Heroes line, to bring it up once again, they're catering to like kids with that line, right? And are kids even watching this show? I mean, I haven't heard, like, I work with kids every day, and I've never heard any kids say, "Oh, I'm watching X-Men 97." I don't think they are. I think it's like adults, grown-ups. We're the ones watching it. Honestly, I think half of the show would go over their heads anyway, if they were. X-Men 97 4-inch figures are more than 5 POA. Almost as articulated as current TVC, but not quite. Thank you, Battery Bob. Yeah, I'm remembering now that it's only the Star Wars figures that are actually truly 5 POA. Thank you for reminding me. So I did want to show you guys something that Adam here in the chat sent me that I thought was really cool. All right, this was like, when I saw this, I was like, whoa. All right, Adam, let's see if we can pull it up. Ooh, Adam, I'm getting an error on that. It's not up anymore. I think it got pulled or something. Here, I'm going to show it to you, though, on my phone. Because I believe, unless I closed it, I hope I didn't close it, that I may still have it. I may still have it up. All right, I'm going to see if I can airdrop it to my computer. We'll see if this works, because the link isn't opening for me anymore. No, it's not. All right, I'm going to screenshot it then. And let me see if I can open in the eBay app on my phone. It comes up on my phone. It's interesting how it's not showing up on my browser. But anyway, let me airdrop it and I'll show you guys what Adam sent me, because I was blown away by this. This is really cool. It's custom, so it's not like an official product or anything. But as you may well know, sometimes the best things are made by the fans. I really believe that. All right, check out these apples here. Look at this. 3 3/4 inch sandcrawler. Look at that. I know it's not the best picture because it's tiny, but I can't open the page on my browser for some reason or other. It opens on my phone, but not on my web browser. But yeah, look at that. That is something else. If you can, so if you guys want to see it in more detail, go to eBay, look up 3D Stuff LK. That's the user. You can see it right there. Take a screenshot if you want to, and go check this thing out. This thing is really cool. It's huge. And I know you guys can't see the price, and you're probably curious, how much is this, Victoria? The price on this thing, $1,710 with $260 in shipping. It's not cheap, but it's really cool. It is really cool. And if you look up the listing on eBay, there's some really nice like toy photography, and it looks like the sandcrawler from the movie. But you guys, this guy did, if there was a HasLab, it would need to be this right here. And you know, I know it wouldn't cost what this guy's selling it for. And I'm going to pull up another picture. There's no way. Oh, wait, did it come up now? Here, I'm going to try again. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now I was able to get it to load in my browser. I don't know why I wasn't able to earlier. Here, let me show it to you guys in more detail. There we go. That's much better. Here, let's make it nice and large. Yeah, look at this thing. It's got, if you count the very bottom, starting to get warm. If you count the very bottom, it's got 4 levels, right? Man, this thing is so cool. And this is what I was saying, the toy photography. Look at that. This looks like a still from Attack of the Clones. Look at that. You can see Mandalorian down there. This thing is impressive. Like, this is 100% what a HasLab sandcrawler would need to be. That kind of looks like the shot from the Rise of Skywalker. That looks like from A New Hope. I mean, it looks like straight out of the movies. Man, that is cool. Now, if money were not an issue, I would probably buy this thing, because it's awesome. This is the coolest sandcrawler I've ever seen in this scale. Loads of detail. It's just great. It's just great. I love how you can take the panels apart, but then when you put them back on, it looks fairly seamless. Like, this is just a really fun. Look how big it is next to that guy. Yeah, some of the figures he has in there, I think they're just like 3D like printed figures or something. But yeah, this is like hella cool. Like this, if they were to this is what a HasLab would need to be, probably, and more. Like, it would need to have more detail than this, honestly. But this is really cool. Is that a little bar that they have on the top level? Is that what the Jawas do? Do they have their own cantina in the Sandcrawler? If this is the case, sign me up. I love it. I love it. That is awesome. Definitely the coolest thing I've seen today. I love how he posted just so many photos of this thing also. I think that's the last one. But yeah, 24 photos. Man. That is cool. That is cool. This right here actually, this right here actually makes me think, hey, a HasLab Sandcrawler needs to happen someday. Not yet. Not yet. But someday. I'm blown away. Thank you, Adam, for sending that my way. I was really happy to see that. I'll share it to my story on Instagram because that is something else. I applaud whoever made that, and yeah, that's really cool. And then the fact that it has a cantina on the top level for Jawas, like what? It's got to be like a low bar. I mean, I don't mean that like in a metaphorical way. I mean that literally, like the bar in there has to be low to accommodate Jawas. Yeah, if money were no object, it would be hard not to do that. But yeah, I'm going to be dreaming tonight about Jawas like going to a cantina at the end of a long work day out in the Junlin wastes, them going out to the cantina and just having a ball out there. The top level of the Sandcrawler, just having a ball of a time in their Jawa cantina. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that is really cool. That is really, really cool. Yeah, I can't stop like looking at these pictures. Like it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. Man. We need that. We need that as a HasLab. What do you guys think? Not yet. Like I said, not yet. Let's get some of the other ones out of the way because we need the cantina, we need the Death Star. But man, how cool would this be? Where would I put it? I don't know. Like I always say, that's tomorrow Victoria's, future Victoria's problem. Not tonight. Not going to be worrying about that tonight. Not going to be worrying about that in the anytime too soon. But for sure, that is something that like I need to experience. Is this a Sandcrawler of this magnitude in my collection? I know I'm rambling about it now, but 100%, I need this thing. I need this in my life, and I didn't know I needed it until today. I didn't know I needed it until today. And you guys can also, if I don't think it's a private page, Adam, your Instagram, but if you love cute dog pics, Adam's page is loaded with them. What do you guys think? I bet they have a droid bartender. Oh my God. Let's go back to that picture. Let's go back to the picture of the Jawa Cantina. Right, here we go, right here. It needs some paint, granted, right? It needs some paint, needs some decorations. It needs a little VC poster on the wall, right? Victoria's Cantina poster. But and yeah, it is a low, like, if Mando was standing in there, he'd probably be hitting his head because it's like a small bar, right? But imagine that, like, with a bunch of drinks, some more paint, Jawa's just in there having a ball. You pose them, like, doing all kinds of crazy things. They're just hanging out. Yeah, 172 decimal note. Definitely the Jawa juice would be a requirement. That would definitely be necessary. Victoria is hypnotizing herself. Yes, I mean, I'm just floored. Like what? Like, how is this even a thing? Like, this is like the coolest thing. Now we know what Barb Pelly met her Jawa boyfriend. I like that. They have, it has to be a droid bartender because that's what they do. They rehabilitate droids. And I know they don't always, I'm sure they don't always do the best. I mean, we all know R5D4, right? Whether or not he did that to himself or whether or not it was the Jawas' work, who knows? They may not be they're not droidsmiths in the sense of like Babu Freak, right? But they definitely, that's what they do. Droids is like their trade, right? They know droids. So I'm sure they have hopefully it's a good droid though. He's not like mixing the wrong things, He's got his ingredients correct. Does he do commissions? I don't know. You can buy that one if you want to spend that much money. More of a work of art than a toy playset? Yeah. Yeah, this is funny here. So Better Ray Bob, the sandcrawler is impressive, especially considering that it is an adult next to it and not a kid. So I've been thinking for years now, and they probably would never do it. But let me pull up this. Let me go to that picture again. Yeah, this one right here. All right, check it. On Hasbro's the vintage collection packaging, they need to bring back. You know how they used to have kids like on the boxes playing with the toys? They need to do that again, but with adults. We all know it's not kids buying these figures, it's adults. They need to do that. They serve Jawa juice in the sandcrawler. I hope it isn't made from real Jawas. I hope not either. I mean, it could just be, that one always is kind of weird, right? Because Dex's Diner and Attack of the Clones, the bartender, the diner droid WA7, I think it's WA7. She's like, "You want a cup of Jawa juice?" I always wondered that, or is it just something like they're known for? Like they're like these expert like craftsmen of, like, kind of like with tequila, right? Like tequila from Mexico or like whiskey from Tennessee. But Jawas, like, maybe for whatever reason, are just known for making this excellent juice. Is that what it's about? I don't know. I've always wondered. I'm sure I'm only one of like 3 people wondering that, but it is true. It is true. All right. So I guess I want to end on 2 things. We are almost at 2 hours. First up, if you are so inclined, there is a feature on my YouTube videos. There's actually 2 features. If you want to help, basically supporting, the costs of the streaming, because, it ain't cheap, or maintaining the podcast or the live streaming and all that. We have the merch store. If you look here on the bottom of the page, any of these listings, click on them and they'll take you over to the VC merch store. And I did post, I haven't talked about them yet because I'm in the process of launching. I'm trying to get, I can't say too much without saying too much, but there are some new designs in the shop. Also, if you want to join, we don't have any members yet that have joined. right here, you can join the channel on the VC. You just click join right here next to the name of the channel on any video. And there's 3 levels. The first one is apprentice. And if you become an apprentice, basically you'll be shouted out during social hour when you join. And then you'll get the priority response to video comments. Any comments you leave on regular videos will be stand out because you're going to get a badge next to your name. You'll have one of these stars. The next level is night. This one's $2.99. For this one, you get early access to new videos. There is a 24-hour window there, and there's also access to the VC Discord server, which if you're on Patreon, you should already have access to that. And if you want it all, there's the master level at $9.99. You get the photos and the status updates. We have a Twitter account for Patreon or joining the channel. And then you also get discounts on merchandise. I can send you a coupon for anything that you see in the merch store that you're interested in. So there's different things you can check out, and those do include, the previous levels as well. So, if you're so inclined, like I said, we do appreciate you guys very much if you're able to join or to become a patron or any of those things. And some of you here in the chat are. I really appreciate you guys. And then I also want to mention once again, and I got to throw it out there because I'm really excited about May the 4th. I got to throw it out once again about next week, right? Next week we got not one but two live streams with Cantina Social Hour on Friday night, just as we're doing tonight. We're going to do it again next week, next Friday night. And then Saturday, we have the May the 4th special with Tim from Bosk's Bounty, John from the SW, the Vintage Collection Facebook group, and Chris from banthaskull.com. And I don't know, there may be another person in there, another 2 people, another surprise, or who knows? I don't know. I don't know who's going to show up. We'll see. We're going to be talking about all things May the 4th. Right? The Phantom Menace in 3D, or not in 3D, the re-release. We're going to be talking about the end of the Bad Batch, Tales of the Empire, any new product that is announced. We're going to be covering the HasLab, right? That's the big one, the HasLab. We're going to be reacting to the HasLab, right? This is going to be a fun show. Both of them will be, but this one in particular, May the 4th. I hope you're able to make it. Really hope you're able to make it. All right. So it's been almost 2 hours. We didn't even get to the hot toys, and that's okay. That's okay. We can talk about it next week, unless you guys really want to talk about them now. But yeah, there was some hot toy stuff as well, and I don't know how I missed that earlier as I was going through the tabs, but I did somehow. So we can keep going. I know there's like 40 some of you guys still in here, so we can keep going if you want to, but if not, we can cover them next week for sure. You guys, thank you as always. Really appreciate you. Every week, Friday night, Cantina Social Hour. You guys are the best. Thank you for all you do just by being here, just by hanging out with me on Friday nights and being a part of this Victoria's Cantina Social Hour is awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for making it fun. Thanks for hanging out. I guess I'll put these back on now because I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys very much for being with me the last 2 hours. Hope it's been fun. Hope you've had a good time. And as always, no matter where you're tuning in, out in the galaxy, I don't care if you're on Mars. It doesn't matter to me if you're on the other end of the Milky Way galaxy. Are you across time and space on the other end of a black hole? Are you somewhere about to transverse the event horizon of the black hole? Are you in an alternate dimension? Do you live in a 4D world? I don't know. Wherever you are, whoever you are, this is beaming in all directions. Maybe it's going out into space. No, it is going out into space. Maybe it's being watched on other planets by actual like aliens, right? I don't know. wherever you are, whoever you are. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in to Cantina Social Hour. I will see you guys for those two shows next week. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye.